Please welcome from your Houston Rockets, six-time All-Star, Tracy McGrady. And the top All-Star vote getter for 2 years straight, Yao Ming.
Yo, on behalf of my NBA family, my Houston Rockets, want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank you for your support. And those watching worldwide, enjoy the show.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, fans. All come here tonight. Let's have fun here. Make some noise for us. Thank you. Let's play ball.
Yao has come a very long way, it should be pointed out, as we take a look at the McDonald's starting lineups. And we'll open it up with the Eastern Conference in the backcourt from the Philadelphia 76ers, two-time All-Star Game MVP Allen Iverson. From the Miami Heat, averaging 27 a game, Dwyane Wade. On the front line in his second All-Star game by way of the Cleveland Cavaliers, 21-year-old LeBron James. The other forward selected to replace the injured Jermaine O'Neal from the Nets, Vince Carter. And starting at center, Shaquille O'Neal of the Miami Heat. For the Western Conference All-Stars at the guards, once again a leading MVP candidate, Steve Nash of the Phoenix Suns. From the Los Angeles Lakers, putting up 35 a game, tops in the NBA, Kobe Bryant. And up front from the hometown Houston Rockets, two-time NBA scoring champion Tracy McGrady, along with Tim Duncan of the San Antonio Spurs, making his 8th All-Star appearance, averaging 19 and 11. And at center, the man we just heard from the Rockets, the 7'6" Yao Ming. The officiating crew, Joe DeRosa in his first All-Star game, and Greg Willard in his first, flanking Dick Bavetta in his 31st season, his 3rd All-Star game 2 weeks ago. Dick passing Jake O'Donnell, who had reffed 2,134 games. Dick now by himself on the all-time list and has never missed an assignment. So we're ready to go with Yao Ming and Shaquille O'Neal. The jump center, Bavetta will put it in the air. East is 134, the West is 120. Last year in Denver, the East came up with a victory. Allen Iverson, who has the ball, was the MVP. 15 points, 9 assists, and 5 steals. And the fadeaway opens things up. LeBron James from the perimeter.
Well, Marv, with the injury to Jermaine O'Neal, that's going to force Tim Duncan to have to guard LeBron James out on the perimeter. That's going to be a tough matchup for him. But on the flip side of that, now Duncan can go in the post against LeBron James.
And here is Yao with the jump hook. Rebounded by Duncan. Tim Duncan, a guy who's been playing hurt throughout the season, with the assist. Gets the pass to Yao.
And right away, we're going to see a Shaq-Yao matchup. Remember, with Shaq moving to the East, we haven't seen these guys play against each other much. Both have suffered from injuries the last couple of years, so it'll be fun to see them going at it down on the block.
Well, we're going at it in a different style, as you saw the skip by Shaquille O'Neal as he tried to put a move on Yao Ming. That's a three-point attempt by McGrady, and Carter able to run it down, fires. Wade with the save, but back comes Kobe. Kobe Bryant, guarded by Vince Carter, who snatched it out of the air, and here's Wade ahead of the field. Dwyane Wade with the stuff.
One of the things when you coach in a game like this, Marv, you talk to the guys, let's not have a lot of unforced errors, a lot of turnovers. We've already seen 2 careless passes. You just don't want the game to be sloppy.
You were head coach of the East back in the '97 All-Star game. Can you actually put in plays, or is it strictly roll the ball out on the court, as we see right here? As that pass goes, I would have to say, astray, thrown by Iverson. You say, hey, go work it out.
Great intentions when you have a little shoot-around to go into the game with a couple plays, but usually guys figure it out themselves, and a lot of screen roll, a lot of post-ups, isolations. Here you see Duncan, but you'd like to have an out-of-bounds play, in-line and sideline, Marv, and then the big thing is just getting guys minutes.
It's hard enough sometimes to get guys to run plays in the regular season.
That's true.
Forget the All-Star game.
And James with the air ball. Back comes Bryant. Nice pass. Nash gives it back. Beautiful play. Tracy McGrady, the finisher.
We've seen early on there's a fine line between being good and being a little out of control.
on the turnover, the ball back to the West.
Well, the guy who leads the NBA in assists, Steve Nash, the nice little handoff that time to Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming, what tough years they've had with injuries. The Rockets have been struggling. Could be a fun day for these two guys here in front of their home crowd.
And back comes Iverson, putting the move on Bryant. Nice feed, Wade. Shaquille O'Neal from his teammate, Dwyane Wade. Game is tied at 6. We are just underway here in Houston. Steve Nash showing us the quick release.
What a spectacular year he's having with all that went on in Phoenix in the offseason, the injury to Amari Stoudemire. This guy has been so good. Reigning MVP, I think he's got a chance to repeat.
You saw him the other night. What did he shoot? 10 for 11 against Houston. Didn't miss a shot. Kobe with the finish. He missed one shot the other night, Nash did. Completely controlled that game, and remarkable what he's done without Amari and Joe Johnson.
Game is tied at 9. Nice move by McGrady. Look out. The lob intended for LeBron James.
You see, Marv, that's what I'm talking about. Plays you'll try to make here today in the game you would never try in a regular game. You try to make that extra spectacular play.
That's a three-point attempt by McGrady. West squad getting back as Iverson hands to James. As we mentioned earlier, Flip Saunders said with about 4 minutes to go in the first quarter, he will insert his 4 Detroit Piston players. A running hook, going glass, LeBron James, and the game tied at 10. Steve Nash with the lead off the mark.
Take a look at the speed and quickness and strength of LeBron James. I think that's what's more impressive than anything, the ability to just power through defenders and get to the glass.
Iverson, and it's put home on the follow by Carter. Vince Carter averaging 24 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists for the Nets. It's deflected out. So the West will maintain possession. Vince Carter spent 6.5 years with Toronto, acquired by the Nets last December, and recaptured his high-flying style, the 19 championship competition in 2000 with that spectacular display.
Well, he's probably made the All-Star team a couple of times when he was voted in, when maybe he didn't deserve it. He certainly earned it this year with his play for the Nets.
Tracy McGrady. Game is tied at 12. Wade tried to look away, was deflected out, last touched by the West. And we will have our first substitution. Chris Bosh, a first-time All-Star in his 3rd year from Georgia Tech, member of the Toronto Raptors.
You've got Bosh and Duncan going at it. That slides LeBron James down onto one of the wing players for the West.
Here's Nash with the lob. Intended for McGrady. And there's that backcourt man, Shaquille O'Neal, able to move it across.
Shaq wants to isolate here against Yao from the wing.
That was a return pass intended for Shaq, and here's Kobe Bryant. There's a nifty pass between the legs of Yao Ming thrown by Shaquille O'Neal.
Like they had practiced that.
And again, Kobe puts off the glass. We've seen that before. That's Tracy McGrady is able to finish.
Yeah, but usually McGrady throws that pass to himself. That time he got one from Kobe.
Here's LeBron James from downtown.
He's improved so much as a shooter, Steve. You've talked about his balance. He's getting so much better balance on his shot, getting his legs underneath him.
And I think the scary thing is, Doug, he can still get a lot better with that shot. He takes 3 or 4 bad ones every game. His efficiency will continue to improve as his shot selection does.
Crowd reacting to that spin move by Kobe Bryant, and then it's deflected out of bounds. Timeout taken with just under 6 remaining. James, who's had the touch, hits another 3. That's his 2nd in this first quarter. So the game is tied at 18, and usually, and we've seen the pattern, particularly in recent years, you get to the fourth quarter and then the atmosphere changes.
Oh yeah, that's when it becomes competitive and teams want to win. That last 10 minutes of the fourth quarter, Marv, you and I spoke about it the other day, maybe our most fun time of the entire weekend.
Look out on the save, Dwyane Wade and Kobe nearly land in the lap of Steve Kerr, who is actually up in the stands.
That's the closest I've ever come to participating in an All-Star game.
That's not true, Steve. You were here. The Shooting Stars walked away here
last night.
I'm talking about the main event, the big show.
You know, this All-Star weekend. You know, we're not just going to talk about the game.
All right, here is McGrady. And he puts it down with a windmill.
Well, we've seen an awful lot in this competition, guys. The hometown player win the MVP. McGrady with 10 early points. Wade comes back with his own slam, but you can see this West squad trying to get Tracy McGrady shots. He's got 9 of them up already.
Well, 12 times the home team player has won the MVP, so maybe we'll see the 13th today.
And a foul is called as Shaq got his hands on Kobe Bryant. And Shaq and Kobe, a trivia reporter, are laughing together. And there was communication before tonight's game between the two.
Well, we saw them hug in Los Angeles a few weeks ago, and we're seeing a little goofing around going on tonight. You see the Marcus Haynes impersonation, for those of you who are Harlem Globetrotter fans, through Shaq's legs, and they both get a little laugh out of it.
Well, I look across the court and I see Bill Russell, the great Bill Russell, sitting there in the front row, and he's the one really who had talked to Shaq about, you know, stepping forward, you know, with this Kobe situation. Let's put this thing to rest. You guys are too good to keep this harboring any longer.
And substitutions for the Western Conference squad. Tony Parker of the Spurs checked in. Beautiful move by Kobe Bryant. Sean Marion of the Suns and Pau Gasol of the Memphis Grizzlies have all come on. Here's LeBron again looking for 3. So he is firing from downtown. Had an air ball 3 earlier, and that one just grazed the rim. He has hit 2. Here's Kobe looking to put a move on Bosch. And Bryant shoots from downtown. Handled by Bosch. Will set the Eastern Conference. Allen Iverson with the ball. Allen Iverson going straight down the lane. And back comes Marion. Sean Marion.
Well, we've seen that a lot this year. The way the Phoenix Suns like to get out and run, the way Nash likes to pass that basketball. How about the year that Sean Marion is having? Man, he has been so terrific. I've got him on the all-defense team, Steve. He's been that good this year.
Here is Shaquille O'Neal putting a move on Pau Gasol, and he is fouled. And Shaq looking frisky here at the start.
Yeah, he's having fun. He always enjoys this game. And I think what he likes to do is show that he's not just a low-post center. And guys, now it's time for the Detroit Pistons to enter the ball game here. All 4 of them coming in here at the 3:38 mark.
All right, the Piston contingent checking in for the head coach, Flip Saunders, Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, Rip Hamilton, and Chauncey Billups all coming out of the floor. And Shaquille O'Neal remains because he's at the foul line.
Well, ironic that Shaq would be out there with the Detroit Pistons, is it because everybody sort of expects it to come down between Detroit and Miami for Eastern Conference supremacy in the spring. So here is Shaq now with the Pistons.
You know, guys, as Shaquille can't do it.
You've got to hit the rim.
Yeah.
So he did that, I guess, to violate so you could get Rasheed Wallace in the game
to
here.
get Paul Pierce in the game, I think, too. He did it to have a little fun, too. Bill Russell got a kick out of it.
As Flip Saunders telling us he would play Paul Pierce of the Boston Celtics as the 5th Beatle, so to speak. And Marion gets inside. You know, you look out on the court, you see 4 members of the Pistons. All we're missing here is Detroit favorite Mason on the public address. That's a 3. Chauncey Billups, who has been encouraged to shoot the 3 and has been successful this season, able to knock down on his first attempt. Here's Garnett. And rebounded by Ben Wallace. Hamilton gets it down. Pierce. Paul Pierce, who comes off a 50-point game in a double overtime loss to the Cavaliers this past Wednesday, able to hit on his first shot attempt. Now Tony Parker of the Spurs kicks it out. Here's Dirk Nowitzki, who just checked in, rebounded by Pau Gasol. Gasol on the back tap, lands in the hands of Ben Wallace. Hamilton try to lob it, and they can reset. Phillips played on a switch by Gasol, and Phillips with the step. Nick Pavetta, the outside official, calling the foul. Foul on Garnett.
I'm done messing around with you. I'm done messing around with you. So what is that? It's 3-2 now, right?
No, I was up.
No, it was 2-2.
That was 2-2. You're right.
It was 2-2. Now it's 3-2, right?
3-2.
All right.
I'll come back.
All right.
One stop, baby.
That's all I need is a 3. That's all I need. I'm under. Hey, Trey. Middle, pick and roll. Drop. You got Shaq. Hey, good luck with that.
That's outstanding. You know, you rarely get to see the human side of Tim Duncan, but having played with him for 4 years, I can tell you he has a very dry wit, an outstanding sense of humor. He just doesn't like to share it with the world. He's a private guy, but behind the scenes, hilarious and a wonderful teammate.
Forget about the regular game. It's those one-on-one confrontations during warm-ups that guys really get heated up.
And, you know, those go on all season long. Most guys have one guy that they share that partnership with before games. They'll play a little one-on-one, gives them a chance to loosen up a little bit.
All right, let's go over to Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, Pau Gasol has been bothered by a viral infection. He's been in bed all weekend. In fact, did not go to practice yesterday. He told me that his coach, Mike Fratello, called him, said, "I'm sorry you're not feeling well, not being able to have fun, taking advantage of this great honor, but get your rest, because remember, Monday we have practice." He then said that he called Avery Johnson and said, "Listen, Pau Gasol's not feeling too well. If you don't want to play him very minutes, it's fine with me because he's not feeling too good."
Always a compassionate guy, this Mike Fratello.
Well, Avery Johnson said he was going to play Elton Brand until he dropped today because that's their first game back. So coach is always scheming for that next game and the advantage.
Well, they're all worried, too, about somebody getting hurt. We saw Brad Miller a couple years ago sprain his ankle, and that really threw Sacramento off for the next 3 weeks or so.
Shot clock is actually down to 2 as Ben Wallace tried the reverse, and here comes Sean Marion. Gasol is up front with Garnett and Nowitzki. Marion and Parker at the guard position. Garnett over Pierce. West up by 2 as we come up on a minute remaining in this first quarter. Marv Albert along with 4-time NBA All-Star Doug Collins as Rasheed Wallace shoots way off on that 3-point attempt. That was with the left hand.
We saw him do that yesterday during the All-Star practice from half court. You talk about strength and touch. Amazing that Rasheed can do that. Ball goes back to the West squad. And Flip Saunders told us before the game, Rasheed made 10 threes in succession recently at a Piston practice with his left hand.
I was about to say, along with Doug Collins and Steve Kerr, a member of the San Antonio Spurs Shooting Stars competition winning team last night. Not enough about Steve Kerr.
It's an emotional moment, guys, but you know, something that I will cherish forever.
Well, Steve hit a 3-point shot and was walking off and thought all the cheers for him. Tony Parker hit a half-court shot before Steve could even look up.
That clinched it. And here's Pierce. Gasol with the rebound on the box out. Here comes Parker. What a terrific season for Tony Parker. Rebound is handled by Phillips.
But what I love about Tony Parker's game is he's become so efficient. As Pierce gets a nice backdoor feed for the layup. But Doug, I know you talk a lot about shooting efficiency. Tony Parker at 54%. He's among the top few in the league in points in the paint. He's just figured out how to play. He knows he doesn't have to rely on outside shots. He's so quick. He can get to the rim at any time he wants.
Well, your game plan is keep him out of lane. Well, good luck. He's so fast and quick. He takes the ball wherever he wants to go.
Here's Garnett, time running out in this first quarter, draws the foul. A hack called on Phillips.
Well, Chauncey Billups has really matured as a player. Here's the backdoor cut by Paul Pierce. You know, Marv talked about the 50-point game he's coming off of, but Chauncey Billups is just such a piece out there. Here's the long shot by Tony Parker at the buzzer. Billups playing in such great rhythm now, leading that Pistons team like a maestro.
Tonight's game being watched around the world on the American Forces Network in 176 countries and over 180 U.S. Navy, U.S. Coast Guard, and military Sea Lift Command ships at sea and in areas abroad, including Iraq and Afghanistan. Marv Albert with Steve Kerr, Doug Collins, Craig Sager, David Aldridge. There's Kevin Garnett for the West. Goes to the fadeaway on Chris Bosh and handled by Chauncey Billups. The 4 Pistons remain on the floor for the East, along with Paul Pierce of the Boston Celtics. Now Billups looks to set up against Parker. Here is Hamilton, and rebounded by Garnett. The alley-oop for Sean Marion.
Well, Sean's used to getting that from Steve Nash. He gets about 2 or 3 of those a game, either that or from Boris Diaw. Those guys both have a nice connection. So Sean Marion once again showing his whole package out there, running the floor defensively.
Nowitzki off that tip. And here is Nowitzki. It will count. Scored, says Dick Pavetta, and the foul.
I don't think there's ever been a player in the NBA 7 feet tall who has the type of open floor fast break abilities that Dirk Nowitzki does. Gets bumped from behind, and look at that. He switches over to the left hand while stumbling, still gets it to go.
And you know, you got to give Don Nelson a lot of credit. When he took this young guy, he made him a all-round player. He didn't put him down on the block. He recognized his skills, his ability to shoot the ball, handle the ball. What a nightmarish matchup he is out on the perimeter. And now what Avery Johnson is doing is taking it and now trying to add the low post game, that little mid post game, so they could, in the playoffs, be able to throw that ball in the block. But wins the three-point shooting competition, excellent rebounder, getting better team defensively. So Dirk Nowitzki is having a terrific year for the Mavericks.
And last night in winning the three-point shootout became the first 7-footer to win the three-point contest. And Wallace looks to put some moves on and try to hand it off to Hamilton. Here is Hamilton with a rainbow. Now Rasheed Wallace has gone to the bench, so Flip Saunders has 3 Pistons out there right now. Over the first 8 minutes, the East committed 8 turnovers. Elton Brand of the Clippers have just checked in, and it's rebounded by Pau Gasol. Here's Ray Allen of the Sonics, who just came on, and handled by Chris Bosh. Now, since the Pistons entered the game, only 1 turnover in the last 5 minutes of play, which tells you something.
Yeah, they're in a rhythm with one another. Chauncey Billups is taking care of the basketball, and they've played a very simple basketball, not trying to make the spectacular play.
Nice pass. Pierce setting it up on the hop for Billups. West is up 33-32. Nowitzki, yes. Dirk Nowitzki of the Dallas Mavericks. And Mavs at 41-11, best record in the Western Conference, and one of the surprises of the season.
Well, Marv, it's going to be very interesting. The second half of the season, or actually about the last 30 games. We're well past the halfway point. But I asked Avery Johnson before the game, we were talking to him, I said, are you happy that every game means so much? Because San Antonio and them are going to be fighting for that spot, that #1 seed, which would have been also home court in the second round. So he said, yeah, I am happy because we have to keep an edge about us, and we have to continue the kind of ball that's going to get us into the playoffs, and we can play well.
Pau Gasol with the rebound. Here's Nash, who just checked back in, finding Nowitzki. Well, Steve Nash, former teammate of Dirk Nowitzki in Dallas, able to team up on that beautiful pass. Gilbert Arenas of the Wizards on the floor for the first time. Now Pierce got the step. Rebound is hauled down by Gasol. Here's Allen. Nice setup for Elton Brand. And what a terrific season for Elton Brand. In fact, he's in the most valuable player conversation.
I think he's got to be in the top 3 when you consider his numbers and the fact that the Clippers have had such an outstanding season. He's right there with Steve Nash, LeBron James, Chauncey Billups. He's got to be considered in that group.
Steve Nash in the backcourt with Ray Allen, Dirk Nowitzki with Yao Ming, and Elton Brand on the front line for the West. Here's Bryant being played by Bosch. Yao backing his way on Wallace and scores.
What a joy for Yao Ming not to have to worry about double teaming in an all-star game. You know, I feel sorry for him sometimes with the new rules. You know, people are playing behind him, in front of him. There's nowhere for him to go.
And that lob thrown behind Wade. So the ball goes back to the West. We'll check in with David Aldridge. David?
Well, guys, remember a couple of weeks ago where we told you Indiana Pacers forward Jermaine O'Neal insisted that he wanted to see the Detroit Pistons in the first round of the playoffs if his team could get healthy because he felt like that was the best matchup. Our Charles Barkley took severe exception to those words. Jermaine O'Neal said before the game, remind Charles that we beat the Pistons last week by 8 points without me, and I still believe what I say. We can beat them in the first round, guys.
All right, David.
Be careful what you wish for, right?
Nice save by Ben Wallace, and he got it to Dwyane Wade. West now leads 41-35.
Now this is a standard all-star play, about 2 or 3 lobs with a little finish at the rim. But to get back to what Jermaine O'Neal was saying, guys, I don't know if anybody should really hope to play Detroit, but you've got to give Rick Carlisle and the Pacers a lot of credit to deal with the adversity that they have in the last couple of years and to be in the position that they're in. Pretty remarkable.
Gilbert Arenas misfires. Here comes Ray Allen of the Seattle Sonics. Elton Brand. And Wallace lost sight of it. Brand and Wallace took it away. Bosch with the lob for Carter. Whoa. Chris Bosch to Vince Carter. Nowitzki for 3. And rebounded by Ben Wallace.
Boy, Carter just has that extra gear, doesn't he?
As does Chris Bosch.
That's one of my favorite young players. I coached him 2 years ago in the rookie-sophomore game. When he played in college, he reminded me of a young David Robinson. Left-handed, gets out on the perimeter, powerful finish, soft shooting touch. And here is Chris Bosch with a lob to Vince Carter. So Vince Carter with a spectacular play off the nice little touch pass.
Raptors bright spot playing in his first All-Star game. Chris Bosch, the 4th overall pick in the 2003 draft out of Georgia Tech. He's a Texas guy, grew up in Dallas.
But they got to be holding their breath too, hoping that when it comes time for him to be a free agent that they can keep him in Toronto. They cannot lose him. That would be devastating for that franchise.
7-0 run by the East, looking for more. Carter to Wade to Arenas, and he is fouled by McGrady.
Well, there's certain guys who really become the anchor to the entire franchise, and the ability of that club to re-sign them really means the existence sometimes of the very franchise, whether they're even going to stay in that city. I don't know if that's the case with Toronto, but certainly LeBron James, I mean, Cleveland has to re-sign him. Gilbert Arenas, meanwhile, 2nd time in this game, he's had a sensational season, and the Wizards played great ball the last couple of weeks.
They really have. You know, they got off to a really tough start. They were trying to work in some new guys. Caron Butler came over in a trade. They had lost Larry Hughes, Antonio Daniels, Chucky Atkins was there early, and they just couldn't find any kind of rhythm. And then Eddie Jordan changed his starting lineup. They started playing better defense. They went on a nice little run. They're now back in the playoff chase. But this guy, Gilbert Arenas, for people who don't see much of him, he is a spectacular player. He can get his shot at any time. He's an offensive machine.
Gilbert averaging 28 points, 6 assists for the Wizards. Here is McGrady, and that stops the 8-0 run by the East. For those who may have just tuned in, sloppy start by both teams, trying a bit too hard to set guys up with lob passes and alley-oops of all sorts, and then it settled down, in particular when the Detroit Piston contingent checked in. Nice move by Ray Allen. So the West with a 45-41 advantage. Marv Albert with Doug Collins, Steve Kerr, Craig Sager, and David Aldridge from the Toyota Center in Houston. With just under 6 to go in the first half, the West out in front 45-41. The West is led by as many as 8 points. East went on an 8-0 run to get back into it. Tracy McGrady's the high man. For the West, 6 of 10, 12 points. And for the East, LeBron James in his 8 minutes, 4 of 6, including 2 from downtown. He has 10 points. How about the West? 0 for 12 from beyond that three-point line.
A lot of those shots are off balance. Guys they're trying to add a little flair to the shot, so they're fading away. We saw LeBron fade about 6 feet back, and tough to make that 24-foot shot when you're not on balance.
Take a look here at Dwyane Wade at the free throw line. How about the 17 consecutive points he scored the other day at the end of that Pistons game, which I think was a big win for Miami. They had beaten no good teams all season long and been struggling, coming off a 36-point loss on the road to Dallas that we had broadcast the game. They had no energy, and he lifted his team to a huge win, I thought, over the Pistons on that Sunday afternoon.
Grady and Carter talking to each other. They are cousins, it should be pointed out.
I've never actually heard how they're related. It's through some distant way, but
exactly.
Family nonetheless.
James again launching from downtown.
If I were guarding him and he came down and shot that shot, I would go, thank you. Thank you. I don't have to guard you.
That's
Keep
right.
shooting that long shot.
Oh, Bryant got the step. Nice move by Elton Brand.
Well, LeBron just gave in. That's a pretty tough matchup. He's not used to guarding people like Elton Brand down on the block.
Boy, Elton Brand really looks thin. I have not seen him in person this year. He looks in incredible shape.
Shaquille O'Neal just checked back in, shows us the hook shot. Well, Shaq with a driving hook, presenting the entire repertoire in this first half. Here's McGrady for 3.
These Rocket fans are going, man, Tracy, we need to see you do more for the Rockets that you're doing today.
The last couple weeks, boy.
Tough struggle for him.
Was he 3 for 20 against the Knicks?
4 for 15 the other night against the Suns when they were down 45 at the end of 3.
Steve Nash with the setup for Elton Brand. It has been an injury-hit difficult season for Tracy McGrady, Yao Ming, and the Houston Rockets, who had won 7 of 8, but blown out the other day in Phoenix by the Suns. Ray Allen wide open, rebounded by Brand. And he's able to hit.
Mark, to follow up on McGrady, I don't know in my 30-plus years in the NBA that I've ever seen a team so dependent on one player. The Rockets are 0-13 when McGrady doesn't play. And if he doesn't finish the game, they're 0-16. I don't know if I've ever seen that before with a team.
You've got to wonder a little bit about their future, Doug. They've banked everything on Yao and McGrady, and really in a year and a half, they just haven't clicked. They haven't come together. They've had the injuries, but you wonder, where is this team headed?
McGrady gets it down to Allen, and he will be uncontested. Ray Allen on the reverse. And that leads to a Flip Saunders timeout. The West, the last minute and a half. Elton Brand instrumental. He's hit 4 of 6, 8 points. Here's Vince Carter trying to take the rim down with him and ends up hitting the back rim. And yes, Vince and Tracy at close quarters following the miss.
Well, if you're going to miss a dunk, you might as well make it spectacular. Look how high he is and puts it off that back rim. That thing almost hit the scoreboard on the ricochet.
So a spectacular miss.
That's what it was.
Allen Iverson is checked back in for the East. Bryant being played by Wade. Here's the alley-oop. Oh, beautifully done. Tracy McGrady from Kobe Bryant.
Looks to me like the West are really working hard to try to get Tracy that MVP trophy.
West up 58-45. Parker played by Iverson. Here's Parker. Nice move by Parker.
He is so fast with that basketball. Just a blur to the basket. There's another guy who's pretty fast with the ball as well, Allen Iverson.
O'Neal gets inside. Tracy McGrady, 8 of 12 from the field, 17 points. 3 of the 8 field goals have been on dunks. And here is Parker able to penetrate. It will count. And the foul.
That's why he gets so many points in the paint. I mean, he gets a shoulder past you and it's over. I mean, he just blows right by everybody in this league. You mentioned Allen Iverson. Maybe TJ Ford could be thrown into that category, but You know, it's a pretty select group.
And what he's done too, Steve, he's mastered that little teardrop shot in the lane so that as the big men come over to block it, he can get that off that little floater in the lane so he doesn't have to get all the way to the basket. So he's got the little floater, he can get all the way to the rim, and his mid-range jump shot's a lot better.
Here's LeBron James. Talking about jump shots being much better, LeBron James has come a long way since we first saw him in preseason 3 years ago.
I think sometimes when you're that athletic, not that I would know anything about athleticism, but when you're that good, you don't know what to do on the floor. There are too many options, and I think LeBron is starting to figure out how to be more efficient offensively and how to pick his spots.
Vince Carter draws the foul. Foul is called on Kobe Bryant, his second. Let's go to David Aldridge. David?
Rip, when the 4 Pistons went out there with Paul Pierce, I thought the plan was to freeze him out.
Oh, I mean, you know, once we got out there, you know, things changed a little bit. You know, we just went out there and played, have fun. I mean, we got up and down, and that was the cool thing about it.
What was that moment like when all 4 of you go in, and what did that mean for your team?
Oh, it meant a lot. You know, it meant a lot for the city of Detroit. It meant a lot for our organization. You know, that we got 4 guys coming off the bench, and we thought we should have 5, but, you know, the good thing about it, we out here representing our team.
If you guys get back in as a group in the 4th quarter, who gets the shots? What do you expect to happen?
Like I said, this is just fun for us. You know, we know after we leave here, then it's all business. So we're just going to enjoy this. Whatever happens, happens.
Rip, thanks very much. Back to you, Marv.
All right, thank you, David. And Rip Hamilton's Pistons 42-9, best record in the NBA, best start in the history of the franchise. Although we are all disappointed, Avery Johnson telling us he'd go with the 5 7-footers against the Pistons. Parker went to the left hand. Not able to hit. Here comes Wade, fires it up and slightly off. Try to set it up for LeBron James, and this is a 4-on-0, and they'll need a second shot. Tim Duncan able to put it down on the follow.
Now, we have not seen that lineup that Avery mentioned. Wanted to have Garnett at the point, along with Nowitzki, Duncan, who else? Yao and Gasol.
Remember, he talked about, he said he might do it at an end of a quarter where he said if they're going to press us, we'll only turn it over about 3 or 4 times before the quarter ends. So I think we still might see it before it's over. But these coaches' competitive instincts will start coming out here real soon as we start getting into the second half.
Foul on Parker, putting Iverson at the line. Allen Iverson 0 for 4 in his 10 minutes of play. Now here is that projected, yes, big lineup. 6'11", 3 7-footers, and a guy 7'6".
And Avery said that Tim Duncan fought to be that small forward so he could play the 3 position. So Avery gave in to him being his former teammate.
It is a 14-point lead for the West as we come up on a minute remaining in this first half. Garnett, and the rebound handled by Carter. Here's Iverson going behind the back, had nowhere to go, trying to get it to Shaq, and O'Neal puts it down. 9 points for Shaquille O'Neal. Parker, yes, and the foul.
See the English he had on that ball. He took it to the other side of the basket so he could shield the defender, kissed it off the glass with a great spin.
Went off the wrong foot, too. Watch this. Normally, if you're going to shoot with the right hand, you go off the left foot. He goes off the right foot, uses the body and the glass to shield the ball from his defender. That's incredible. That's one of the reasons why he's so good in the paint.
3-point play for Tony Parker. So Parker with 8 points, 3 of 6 from the field. James missing on the reverse. Here comes Garnett. Now Parker leads Garnett. And Wade try to save it. So the West will maintain possession. West is led by as many as 16. They now have a 15-point lead. Last year in Denver, the East came up with the win. The West had won 3 in a row and 4 of the previous 5. Here's Duncan. Tim Duncan has 8 points. Tracy McGrady, the high man, with 17. The East led by LeBron James, who has 12, and Dwyane Wade with 10 points. This first half winding down. LeBron James working on Kevin Garnett. Here is LeBron shooting again for 3. So that is the end of the first half. The West ending the half with a 23-8 run. And they lead by 17 points. Tracy McGrady, 8 of 12 from the field. And it may well be that his teammates are trying to set up the hometown product, Tracy McGrady, for MVP honors. All right, let's go to Craig.
What did the Houston Rockets do on Tracy McGrady? Marv just mentioned perhaps the West is trying to set it up so you win the All-Star MVP game. Tell us a little bit about the strategy and how successful you've been out there scoring.
Guys are just looking for me. They know, due to the fact that we're playing in my city, they're just passing me the ball, making shots, and they also contributing with us being up, 17, 16. We got to win this game because I want it. I want to keep it here.
Last couple of weeks have been pretty tough on you. That chronic back pain. You also told me some personal issues with the health of a family member. Looks like you're finally having some fun.
Yeah, I finally got peace of mind. I talked to Charles Barkley yesterday, and me and him talked for a little bit. He told me to use this game as an scapegoat for all the problems that I have away from this game. And, that's what I'm doing. I'm coming out here, enjoying this weekend, all the festivities that's going on, and just worrying about the other stuff later.
Back at our broadcast position, Marv Albert along with Steve Kerr and Doug Collins. It's a 17-point lead for the West at the half. The West, Doug, with a big finish. Late second quarter, they go on a 23-8 run to take command.
Well, Marv, they got out on the fast break led by Tracy McGrady, who's having a terrific first half. Looks to me like he's got a leg up on that MVP trophy playing at home here in front of his home fans. But the little fading baseline jump shot, dunk off the glass and the pass from Kobe Bryant. Here he is after one of those turnovers, the powerful finish at the basket, and then the lob from Kobe Bryant. So a terrific first half, 8 of 12. 17 points, and has his team with a nice comfortable lead.
It's still a 2-point game with 5 minutes 10 seconds remaining in the half as we look at tonight's Jeep game summary. West taking over in those final 5 minutes.
Well, one of the things that Flip Saunders was a little worried about before the game is that the East is a very small team. They only have 4 guys over 6'8". Look at the points in the paint, 50-28. The East getting pounded on the glass as well. So they're going to have to pick up the intensity, use their team speed to get back in the game here.
All right, let's go to David Aldridge. David?
Hey, guys, Flip Saunders at halftime said, hey, guys, look, this is fun and everything, but these people came to see you compete as well as throw the ball up all around the place. So let's play the way that we're capable of playing. And don't be surprised if you see Detroit's Fantastic Four make an earlier appearance in the second half, guys.
All right, David, yes, they came on with about 5 minutes to go in the first half. Tracy McGrady gets things going at the start of the third quarter, make it 9 of 13 for Tracy. Here is Vince Carter. Saunders starting with the unit that started the ball game. McGrady, met by Carter, goes to the step back and scores again. So he is on fire. Tracy McGrady with 21 points.
It's good to see him smile again. Marv, last couple weeks have not been kind to him or the Houston Rockets, and so he's having some fun out here today playing great basketball.
LeBron James off the mark. Back comes Kobe Bryant. Bryant and Nash in the backcourt of McGrady. Rebounded by Duncan. It's slapped away. And last touch by Duncan. So the ball to the East. They open up this third quarter with Allen Iverson and Dwyane Wade in the backcourt. Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, and Vince Carter up front. Carter put in the starting lineup, replacing the injured Jermaine O'Neal of the Indiana Pacers. Off shooting game here for Iverson. Nash protecting it, Wade all over him, and a foul.
A rare display of defense in this game. Wade actually put a little heat on Nash in the backcourt, forced the turnover.
Well, you talked about the size differential, the East being the smaller team. Well, Steve, they're going to get themselves back in the game. They're going to have to force some turnovers, get out in the open court, because other than Shaq, They really don't have that powerful presence inside where the West can go inside. Right now, the West being led by McGrady, but East has got to get themselves involved here defensively.
Allen Iverson, always capable of shooting himself back into the game. That's just his first field goal. Missed his opening 5 shots. Yao Ming. Rebound is handled by Shaquille O'Neal. Iverson being watched by Bryant. O'Neal lost the dribble, then able to recover. He scores, and a foul.
It wasn't pretty, but he found a way to get it in. It's going to be interesting to see now. Normally, Shaq uses the All-Star game and those games after to get himself really going into the second half of the season. See, he picks up the loose ball, sort of tippy-toes it to the basket, but Shaq usually goes on a run after the All-Star game and into the playoffs. We'll see if he can do that again this year, but the Miami Heat need a healthy Shaquille O'Neal.
Nash taking it behind the back. Beautiful pass off the dribble. Tracy McGrady is fouled. Tracy fouled in the act. Foul on Shaq. That is his 3rd.
Doug, you talk about Shaq. Phil Jackson has talked about this for years. Shaq is a guy who kind of paces himself, and he has to really because of his size, and I think that the pounding he takes, he looks at the season kind of in the big picture, and I think what he's trying to accomplish now as the season goes on is be at his peak form in the playoffs. Remember a year ago he got that quad contusion at the end of the season, and that I thought really cost him and his team in the playoffs.
Shaq at 33 going on 34. He is the NBA's oldest All-Star. LeBron James taking to the rim. It counts. And the foul. LeBron will head to the line looking for a 3-point play. Foul on Yao Ming. That's his 2nd.
It's just brute strength. I mean, right here, you get a couple of guys who throw their hand in, and he doesn't even feel it. And he goes right through people and finds his way to the basket.
LeBron averaging 31 a game, 8 rebounds, 3rd in scoring behind Kobe Bryant. And Allen Iverson, and LeBron James has had 7 40-plus point games this season for the Cavs. 7-0 run by the East, trying to get back into it. But Tim Duncan ends that run.
Well, we talk about second halves of the season. You know, Tim Duncan has been struggling with that foot injury all year long. It's going to be something I think that's not going to go away, but he will not sit down. He realizes his team really needs him in that race against Dallas for the home court in the West.
Fadeaway shot by LeBron James. He's been all jump shot and has been very effective. 7 of 13, 17 points.
Well, Duncan and James guarding each other. We'll see if the West squad goes back to Duncan and takes advantage of that size on the post-up.
Nice pass from Yao Ming. McGrady with the bucket, and he is fouled. He'll head back to the line. So the 2 Houston Rocket teammates able to team up. The foul is called on Vince Carter.
Yao Ming with a beautiful little bounce pass, look away, and that weak side cutter, sometimes always the easiest guy to find in the lane. That defender turns his head just a moment to watch the ball, and Steve, you're always taught to cut behind the vision of that defender. When he loses sight of you, make that strong cut, and Tracy McGrady did, and chance here for the 3-point play.
Tracy McGrady opened up 4 of 8, which isn't bad. There's a nice lob for Dwyane Wade, and McGrady has hit 7 of his last 8 from the field. He's the high man with 23 in all.
Now it's a 14-point lead for the West, which equates to about maybe a 3-point lead in any other game. This is still very much in doubt.
Bryant right it on the spin, and Duncan is there for the follow. It counts, and the foul.
I remember the game I was coaching in Cleveland. We were down 20 with about 6 minutes to go in the half, and I mentioned to Michael Jordan that the winners get 20,000, the losers get 10, and in about 3 minutes the game was tied. So you go to the best common denominator there, money. Forget about the X's and the O's and sit back and enjoy.
Well, who's Flip going to go to then in this case?
Let me see.
Maybe his 4 guys, his 4 starters who will likely come in the ball game here in a few minutes.
17-point lead for the Western Conference All-Stars. O'Neal trying to back his way. Nice follow though. Dwyane Wade is there and was able to finish. McGrady. We have seen this on a number of occasions where he feels it and he explodes. A 3 for Tracy McGrady to extend that West lead. Iverson goes high off glass.
Doug, you mentioned the fact that the game picks up late. It's starting to pick up.
Shaq with the shove of Yao and says, I'm sorry, as he is called for the foul. That is number 4 on Shaquille O'Neal. Well, national coverage of the NBA continues this week. Tuesday on NBA TV, it's the Blazers and Lakers coverage starting at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Wednesday on ESPN, it's the Bucks and the Bulls starting at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And then on Sunday on ABC, the Cavaliers and the Pistons starting at 12 noon. And here is Ben Wallace checking in for Shaquille O'Neal. Just collected his 4th foul, and a 20-second timeout has been called. Tracy McGrady, 12 of 17 for 26 points. And you can see the look on Tracy's face. And as I mentioned earlier, it appears they are setting him up because they love to see Tracy take MVP honors here in Houston. 26 points in 16 minutes. For those who may have been wondering, most points in an all-star game. And this is not necessarily a Steve Wonders. Wilt Chamberlain in 1962, 42 points. Michael Jordan had 40 in 88. Rick Barry in the 67 game, 38. Remember Kevin Garnett taking MVP honors with that 37-point game and a double overtime win by the West. That was in Atlanta 3 years ago. And Allen Iverson had 35 in that game.
Was that a Marv Moles? Is that what that was? I mean, you kind of stole my thunder. That's what I do, Marv, and you stole it from me.
I know you're taking it personally, but Marv Moles, I kind of like the ring to that.
Yeah, don't get used to it. We're not using it.
Unsponsored. 85-68, West with the big lead. As Chris Bosh of the Raptors just came on, you can hear that hack. Foul is called on Duncan.
You know, as I said here, Marvin, I watched these terrific athletes. You know, back in the 70s when I played in the 80s or whatever, the athletes, there was speed and quickness. But the thing that amazes me when I look at it is the power of these athletes today. I mean, you look at LeBron James, Dwyane Wade, these Kobe Bryant. These guys are quick, fast, but the power in their bodies. We see them going to the basket, contact, they take it, they finish. It really, to me, is where the game has changed. The game was fast and it was quick, but now you throw in that power, and it has taken the game to a new level.
And you're talking about guys who are unbelievably skilled.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking guys who shoot threes, who handle the ball, and I think that's where I see the biggest change as well. Guys like LeBron going a foot above the rim to get a rebound and then doing whatever he wants on the floor.
Oh, what a move by Dwyane Wade.
Two plays right there. The incredible rebound by LeBron James, and then the great finish by Dwyane Wade when he was bumped as he went to the basket.
Wade 16 points, 7 of 9 from the field. Just under 7.5 remaining in this third quarter. The East making a run here in the third. Iverson back to Wade. He delivers to James. And this is beginning to get interesting. The West has led by as many as 21, and they now lead by 12.
Well, you get some defensive stops, and you can use your speed.
Avery Johnson getting set to make some changes. James with a nice play from behind, took it away from Duncan. Here is Wade, kicks it out. Iverson, yes.
In the first half, those were turnovers because they were throwing the ball all over the place. The East was. Now all of a sudden you're starting to see better decision making. That's why they're getting back into the game.
Bryant off the fake and ran into his own man in a collision with Yao Ming.
And Yao Ming is smiling. He didn't know where to go.
He found it amusing.
Kobe was all over the place.
Here is LeBron James for 3. LeBron James continues his outstanding shooting, 9 of 15. He has 22 points, a 10-0 run by the East. They are now within 7. You're back to the Toyota Center, and tonight's All-Star game features 6 foreign-born players. Count them, 6, and in tonight's NBA Planet, We take a quick world tour. We have Steve Nash on hand out of Victoria, British Columbia. Tim Duncan from the Virgin Islands. Al Gasol out of Barcelona, Spain. Tony Parker from Paris, France. Dirk Nowitzki from Wurzburg, Germany. And Yao Ming from Shanghai, China. Tonight's game ties the record of 6 international-born players that was set during the game back in 2004. So Yao, the first ever overall #1 draft pick to come from an international basketball league.
And Marv, you notice all 6 of those international players on the Western Conference squad as Grant knocks down the jumper. Clearly, the Eastern Conference team's not doing a very good job of international scouting.
And here is LeBron James again from downtown.
Well, the East has worked himself back into this game, and they've done it by forcing turnovers.
Nice play, Marion again. And a foul, although the East looking for a traveling violation. A moment ago, LeBron James with the 3. He's 4 of 7 from beyond that 3-point line. Sean Marion to the line, and we'll check in with Craig Sager.
Well, Mark, 2 of those international players, Steve Nash and Dirk Nowitzki, were teammates with Dallas for 6 years. They now lead their respective teams, Western Conference rivals. They're both in first place. And we talked a little about the All-Star game. What's it like to have your old teammate back?
It's been great. Obviously, you know, it's too bad we don't get to play together anymore, but it's nice at least once a year.
Dirk, we talked about the international influx, but also we were talking about how maybe you revolutionized the game as a 7-footer with the threes. You won the 3-point shootout last night. Talk a little bit about the game and how Nelly was able to let you do what you want to do best.
Yeah, I mean, he gave me a lot of confidence. I think there were not a lot of coaches back then who liked the 7-footer dribbling up and jacking up shots, and he always gave me a lot of freedom, and I owe him a lot. And, you know, I think the game nowadays goes away from all the post up and backing up in 10 dribbles. I think every big man, every power forward can put the ball on the floor a little bit now and make the little shot. It's been fun to watch.
Thanks a lot. Both of you have been fun to watch. Back to you, Mark.
All right, thank you, Craig. LeBron James on the foul. Sean Marion to the foul line. LeBron James 10 of 16, 25 points. Well, we have a moment here. We'd like to wish our very best to Bryant and Betty McIntyre. Bryant is the Senior Vice President of Basketball Communications for the NBA, and he and his wife Betty involved in an automobile accident last week. We're told they suffered bumps and bruises. They're on the way to recovery. Bryant is particularly upset about missing tonight's game. He had been to every NBA All-Star game since back in 1980. But they are recovering quickly back in the New York area, back home, and hope to see the McIntyres very soon.
Yeah, it's not the same here not seeing Bryant. He's always that smiling face you can see and go, and he loves this game so much, so both of you guys get well quickly.
Foul on Marion. That puts James at the line, so that West lead is down to 9 points. LeBron James 1 of 3 at the free throw line. The West is led by as many as 21. There's a rare all-star call by Dick Pavetta. A palming violation is called.
Didn't you guys have one in the game the other night? Who was it? Iverson was guarding Heinrich?
Kirk Heinrich, yeah.
And Heinrich, or who got called on?
Heinrich carried the ball, and Iverson pointed and said, hey, that's a carry. We thought that's the most ironic thing of all time. Iverson complaining about somebody else carrying.
There is Billups. Might call that a Heinrich maneuver. Then again, you might.
Boom.
Sorry. All right. Nice touch by Ray Allen. The truck reacting badly to that. Killed here.
Steve wants you to stay with Marv Mulls.
Down to 4.5 remaining in the third quarter. 94-83. The West on top. And the key number, the East only 1 turnover thus far in this third quarter. The West with 6, in contrast to what took place in the first half. And that pass from Parker ends up in the crowd.
That's just a situation where guys don't read each other well. Marion, when he gets on that baseline, loves to cut to the basket on the backside of that rim. And that's what he started to do, and Parker threw the ball behind him.
You know, that's a Spurs play frequently where they throw the ball back to the corner to dump it into Tim Duncan. So you're right, just a miscommunication from two guys who are used to playing a little differently.
Allen trying the three. And here comes Billups. Billups and Wade now in the backcourt for the East with James, Bosch, and Ben Wallace up front. A three-pointer. It's down to a 6-point West lead. So Billups has 8. That's his second three of the night. And the pass from Parker carried out of bounds. Pau Gasol saying no, it was deflected out. Another turnover by the West. And the East back in possession.
That's 3 turnovers in a row for Tony Parker. Somewhere, Greg Popovich is not happy.
And particularly unhappy because he cannot scream at Tony.
Probably is yelling at him. You just can't hear it.
Here is Allen twisting his way. And it's deflected out. This time last touch by the East, knocked out of bounds by Ben Wallace.
Well, with all these turnovers, we talked, Marv, a while ago, what's happening now is the West is turning the ball over. The East is getting out into a running game, so they're starting to use their speed. Whereas in the first half, it was the West that was careless. Excuse me, the East that was careless. Now in this period, it's been the West.
Rip Hamilton, Paul Pierce come back in for the Eastern squad. So it's Billups and Hamilton in the backcourt. With Bosch, Pierce, and Ben Wallace up front. Pau Gasol looks to put a move on, and then nice pass. Marion not able to put it down. Here comes Billups. Pierce. It is down to a 4-point West lead.
Now it gets competitive. Now you're going to see both teams want to win the game.
7 straight points for the East. Allen. A finish by Marion.
Well, that's a common theme. We've seen that so often. The Suns so quick, they come at you so hard, and then you're out of rebounding position because of it.
Elton Brand comes up with a steal. Tony Parker and Ray Allen in the backcourt is Parker. Back comes Billups. He pulls up for the three. Rebounded by Bosch. Hamilton using the pick. And Wallace put on the brakes. Bosch, yes.
Well, he's really improved his game. He's got a soft shooting touch. He's rebounding well, blocking shots. Toronto got off to a horrible start this year, but they're starting to be a lot more competitive. I guess other than that game that they gave up 81 to Kobe Bryant, they played much better basketball over the last 35 games.
8 points, 8 rebounds for Bosch. Here's Gasol. Knocked out of his hands by Wallace. That's his third block. Gasol blocked again and a 24-second violation.
You know, most guys want to show off their offensive game in an all-star competition. Not Ben Wallace. This is what he does. He defends, and he's having some fun out here.
The West with a 96-92 lead after leading by as many as 21. Here's Hamilton, and he brings the East within 2.
What a tough shot. Is there anybody in the league better at curling those screens and getting in the lane? Rip is a master.
Well, we've got 4 Pistons on the floor, so look for Flip Saunders to run some of the Pistons' own stuff to get some good shots here.
Yes, Rasheed Wallace checking in to make it for Detroit Pistons. The tip missed by Marion, but a foul is called.
Rip Hamilton, the best in the league, moving without the basketball. Look the way he sets his man up. Sean Marion, a terrific defender, but the little curl. What happens is Rip now has also become very adept at when you help on that, he kicks that ball out, and when Rasheed Wallace sets the screen, he fades away from the basket, and then he has the open jump shot. So Rip was always very good at getting his own shot. Where he's really improved is making plays for his teammates when they really hedge out on those screens.
Both teams are now over the foul limit. West up by 3. Billups trying to put a move on Parker. Now Billups for 3. Rebounded by Brand. Parker and Allen at the guards. Marion, Brand, and Gasol up front. At the start of the night, there was concern about Pau Gasol having touch of the flu. Brand puts the spin on, and an offensive foul is called. And the question was, how many minutes would Powell play? And his coach, Mike Fratello, concerned. Powell's been out there all night, it seems. 14 minutes.
Now you're going to make Mike so nervous.
That's the idea.
I knew that's why I was your straight man there.
But Powell told us he's feeling much better. Here's Rasheed Wallace for three, way off, rebounded by Gasol.
Look at that catch.
Marion saved that lob that was off the mark, and they will reset.
10 turnovers in this quarter by the West. That's why the East has gotten between 3.
4-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock as this quarter winds down. Off the back tap, kept alive by Marion. Here is Allen for three. Gasol made the extra pass and it cost. Time runs out.
Now one pass too many. Gasol probably could have thrown up the jump hook.
I got to shut T-Mac down now. Come on. All right, let's go. Come on, let's go. Let's go, Bron. Give me one then. What I'm talking about. Charles said it was over. Charles said it was over. There you go. Yeah, yeah, Big Ben. Yeah, Big Ben. Yeah, Big Ben.
Well, Shaq referring to Charles Barkley, who said during our studio show at halftime that it's all over. West up by 17 at the half. So that's what the All-Stars do at halftime. They're checking out the studio show. Want to see what the guys have to say.
But what's Charles doing saying it's over in an All-Star game? It doesn't matter if it's 30 points. I mean, it's going to be close at the end.
Fourth quarter is underway. Here's Rasheed Wallace wide open. Rebounded by Sean Marion. Dirk Nowitzki, Kevin Garnett back on the floor. And they're up front with Sean Marion, Parker and Allen at the guards. Fourth quarter just underway. Marion not able to handle that pass. Sailed over his head. And the ball back to the East.
It looks like Avery Johnson has worked out the minutes. The guys who have played the least minutes are Kevin Garnett and Dirk Nowitzki, so I expect him to play most of this fourth quarter.
Phillips. It counts and the foul. So he gets the roll. He'll head to the line with an opportunity to tie the game. 10 points now for Phillips.
It's another one of those powerful athletes we were talking about earlier, Steve. Not only the speed and the quickness, the ability to get in the lane and take that hit. And Chauncey Billups, one of the most powerful point guards in the NBA, can pull up and shoot that three with ease, get into the lane and get the three-point play.
So the game is tied at 97. The East has come back from a 21-point deficit. First time this game has been tied since it was even at 41 apiece. Shot clock down to 5.
UConn guys faced off against one another here. Rip Hamilton and Ray Allen.
Here's Garnett. Just did get it off.
There's that Piston defense.
Phillips getting it down low, and Rasheed Wallace banks it home. The East has taken the lead, 99-97.
Yeah, we'll see if the West meets the challenge here. Game is on now.
Here is Marion. Nowitzki lost it. Marion on the follow, and a foul is called. So the East out in front for the first time since back in the first quarter, and they're doing it with 4 Pistons on the floor. And you look back at All-Star history, the last time that a team had 4 All-Star representatives, the Lakers in '98, Sixers did it, 83, Celtics doing it twice.
You're seeing the effects right now. I mean, Detroit at one end defending hard, and then at the other they're getting good shots. They're so used to playing with each other. They're aware of each other's tendencies, and they're running some of Flip Saunders' offense. And they're putting some heat on the West squad right now.
Here is Billups. Yes. And you look back, surprisingly, only 2 of the previous 6 teams that were loaded with 4 All-Stars won the NBA title that particular season. The 61-62 Celtics and the 82-83 Sixers of Maurice Cheeks, Julius Erving, Moses Malone, and Andrew Toney. Here's Garnett again. That shot clock running down, and you can see the significance of the way Detroit plays defense.
They're defending, and the West is really just going one-on-one, and now you're going to see the East run a play. This is a play they run for Rip Hamilton. He throws this ball back to Rashid, or he hits a little baseline jump shot.
Nowitzki. Now Allen. Ray Allen takes to the rim. And the game is tied at 101. That Boston Celtic team that went on to win the title after placing 4 of their players on the All-Star squad. Bob Cousy, Tom Heinsohn, Sam Jones, and Bill Russell back in 61-62.
You wonder if Chauncey Billups is going at Tony Parker with a little thought in mind of perhaps meeting in June.
I was thinking the same thing, Steve.
Hamilton able to finish as Billups ran the break with his teammate. The East again up by 2. Parker able to recover, then lost it. Here comes Ben Wallace, 3-on-1. I was going to say for the Pistons as Billups puts it down.
And you would have been correct.
That's right.
And that is last touch by Ray Allen of the West. The ball back to the East. Better than 18,000 here at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. One more review along Celebrity Row as we check it out. There's Mary J. Blige. Snoop Dogg on hand. Beyonce with Jay-Z.
Keep it on Beyonce. Forget Jay-Z.
That's terrible. Donald Faison from Scrubs and Remember the Titans. And Eva Longoria of Desperate Housewives, a close personal friend of Tony Parker. Eva very shy. An 11-4 run by the East here in this 4th quarter. All 11 points scored by the Pistons. And Billups draws the foul. How this game is picked up. And that occurred late in the 3rd when the East made its run. And they have taken command. How about Chauncey Billups in his 4th quarter? 7 points, 2 assists. He's had a part in all 11 East points.
And it's all been about the turnovers. 13 first half turnovers for the East, only 2 in the second half, 14 turnovers for the West.
Gilbert Arenas rebounded by Steve Nash. Kobe Bryant, Tracy McGrady have checked back in for Avery Johnson, and a foul is called as Arenas picks it up, try to block Bryant from going baseline.
How do you decide who plays, Doug? When you're coaching, you got 12 All-Stars, and it seems like you just sort of mix and match and try to get guys some minutes.
Well, you almost chart it out like an exhibition game when you're coaching to get guys minutes, almost predetermined. Otherwise, you lose track of it during the course of the game, and then somebody gets upset. That's what your assistant coaches over there doing right now, charting all those minutes.
Rare miss from McGrady, who just came on. Here's cut off by Bryant.
Let's go, let's go.
Shaquille O'Neal backing Kevin Garnett, and he scores. So the East now up by 6. And that's their biggest lead of the night. McGrady getting inside, and he'll head to the line. And McGrady is pushed. 2 shots coming up for Tracy McGrady. This is a 17-point lead for the West at halftime. They've led by as many as 21. Marv Albert with Steve Kerr, Doug Collins, Craig Sager, David Aldridge from Houston. It's the 55th annual NBA All-Star Game. Last year in Denver, East came up with a win. Allen Iverson, the most valuable player. The West had won 3 in a row, 4 of the previous 5. A major story coming into tonight's All-Star Game, the fact that the Pistons, with 4 of their players making the Eastern Conference squad, and they have been a factor in this comeback.
Go ahead, Steve.
I was going to say, we talked early in the telecast about whether it would really matter that they play together, and it sure has in the 4th quarter. Wallace tees up the 3 and misses, but this is a game, this is a quarter where the familiarity of the Pistons together just made a huge difference in that little 5-minute spell. That's how the East has gotten this lead.
Foul is called on Bryant. That is his 4th. Shaquille O'Neal to the line. He's 1 of 3 at the line on the season, 49% from the free throw line. And here's the cheers as he hits the first of 2. Shaq averaging 19 points, 9 rebounds. Those are actually career lows. Comes off the early season injury. (109-102). The East with the lead. Here is Bryant. Rebounded by Duncan. And he lost it. Shaquille O'Neal now on the front line with Rasheed Wallace and LeBron James. James with that change of pace pops it out. Now James for 3. Rebounded by O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal with the stuff.
Shaq, don't pull the rim down in an all-star game, please.
Meanwhile, Shaq unable to get down court in time as the West hustled its way, and Duncan was able to score. East now up by 7. And here's James, draws the foul.
When he gets in there, you can't stop him. You got to hope that he misses a shot. He's just like a runaway locomotive. He just picks up speed as he goes inside. And it's interesting, Steve, when you watch him, he's got this little thing now that he cradles the ball. So when he goes in, he sort of cradles it like a halfback, running back, and at the last minute sort of unfolds and then goes to the basket so the ball can't be knocked loose.
Yeah, something we've seen Stephon Marbury do a lot in the past. He'll get going and cradle it, and here we'll get a look at it. And when you're this strong and you can go right up in between people, you're going to get to the foul line an awful lot.
Foul on Garnett as LeBron only 1 of 4 at the line. NBA fans, remember to go to NBA.com or AOL.com/NBA and vote for who you think should win the 2006 All-Star Game MVP. LeBron James has missed his last 4 at the line. Yao Ming is checked back in as McGrady goes to the crossover and hits a gorgeous move by Tracy McGrady. And that was from downtown. Here's James for 3. Rebounded by O'Neal. Iverson. Yes, nice fadeaway off the spin by Allen Iverson. The East 113, the West 107, just under 6 minutes to play in the 4th. Yao comes out to set the pick. See Shaq switching off on McGrady, and Yao is wide open. Right here, the East up by 6. Iverson. And back comes Bryant. Avery Johnson hoping that Kobe Bryant or Tracy McGrady can catch fire and get the West going. Here's McGrady for 3. And Iverson able to run it down. The West gets back. Gilbert Arenas for 3. Rebounded by Yao Ming. Bryant passed on the 3 and lost it. James knocked it aside, recovered by Bryant.
Did you see him get that ball back? I can't believe he recovered that.
Duncan had it slapped away. Last touch by the East, and the West has 4 on the shot clock. Now Dwyane Wade will come on for Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert not able to get going. 0 for 4 in his 10 minutes.
Yeah, I expected him to play well today, Marv. He struggled last year, and he said he was a little nervous. He is coming off a 4 for 20 night, though, the other night in Dallas.
McGrady rimming out, rebounded by Ben Wallace. Eastern squad with Iverson and Wade now at the guards, and Wade off the bench and immediately knocks it down. The East 115, the West 107. Here's Bryant for 3, way off. Rebounded by Ben Wallace. Iverson with that skip dribble goes behind the back, but Ben Wallace could not handle that strong pass.
See if the West will go into Yao Ming. Nobody's even looking at him out here.
Well, Bryant did, but hit him right in the forehead. Not what he had in mind. Let's go to David Aldridge.
Vince, you were on that team in 2001 that made the big comeback in the East. 16 points, 4th quarter. Great crowd in Washington. How'd this game turn around?
We just felt like we didn't bring the energy early, and you know, we wanted to give the crowds a show, but they wanted to win in the beginning, so we decided to come out. We're just gonna play hard and see what happens in the fourth.
Those Pistons are pretty good defensively, aren't they?
Yeah, they got a few years together.
You play with this young fellow over here, Bosch. What's his future looking like?
I think he has a very bright future. He deserves everything he's gotten. He deserves to be here. And, you know, he's one of the best big men in this league right now, and that's why he's my man. And I'm proud of him.
Thanks very much, Fitz. Back to you, Marv.
All right, thank you, David. Things getting heated here between Kobe Bryant and LeBron James.
A little shove looked like from Kobe, trying to fend off LeBron.
Iverson and James with the finish. LeBron James has had a sensational game. 27 points, 11 of 19 from the field, and the East now leads by 10. Foul is called. It is on Ben Wallace.
Remember, this play sort of happened before where LeBron picked Kobe. He got the ball back. This time you see the little shove there by Kobe. Things getting very competitive here. And this is what you expect in the last 10 minutes of the fourth quarter. A little circus shot by Allen Iverson, and there is LeBron James. He has been fabulous.
Nash got the step. McGrady is fouled.
You know what's amazing to me, Marv, is with LeBron James out there right now with Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace, the West cannot get to the basket. They have totally shut the lane down. Everything has been a contested shot, either a three-pointer, and it just shows you the power of that defense. And LeBron James right now is taking the challenge defensively to go with the two Wallaces, and the West can't get to the basket.
How about McGrady, 1 of 6 at the line. West just 12 for 21 at the foul line. The East only 13 of 24. Timeout has been Tracy McGrady at the line. As I mentioned, 1 of 6 from the foul line. He has not been able to recapture the touch that we saw earlier in the game.
He is 3 of 8 from the three-point line. The rest of his teammates are 0 for 15.
James changed his mind, finding Ben Wallace, and he's pushed by Dirk Nowitzki. And that puts the West over the foul limit. And Ben Wallace will go to the line where he has shot 45% during the regular season. Now look at the high point men. Tracy McGrady with 31. Then with the air ball in his first attempt, Tim Duncan with 15. LeBron James led the way for the East, 27 points, 11 of 19 from the field. Strong game for Dwyane Wade, 8 of 10, 18 points. And how about Chauncey Billups, 15 points, 7 assists in 16 minutes. And he and his Piston teammates sparked the East in this come-from-behind effort. They were down by as many as 21, and now McGrady knocks down a 3, and you never know if McGrady is able to catch fire, and we have all seen that on a number of occasions. 117-111. The East with the 6-point advantage. Iverson. Here comes Nash. Nowitzki. Double teamed and fouled by Wallace. So the East also over the foul limit.
Well, you start thinking about MVP at this stage of the game, and you've got to think that if the West can somehow pull out this comeback victory, Tracy McGrady, the obvious choice. On the East side, certainly looks like LeBron James would be your favorite if they hang on to win.
Remember now the all-star record is, what, 42 points. Tracy McGrady with 34. Still 2.5 minutes to go in this game. That's still plenty of time for him to get into the 40s, and especially if the game could go into overtime, we might see a record here in front of his home crowd.
Well, Marv and I were here the night that he scored 13 in about 34 seconds in this building against San Antonio, so we know he can do it in a hurry.
Good job by Bryant getting to that rebound, but not able to hit on the jumper. The last time a player from a losing squad won the MVP is LeBron James, with a spectacular move, was able to hang and twist his way to the rim.
That was shocking.
That was the best move of the game.
Here's the alley-oop. And Tracy McGrady now with 36 points. It's a 5-point East lead. The last time that a player on a losing team in the All-Star game. Took the MVP award 1990. It was Magic Johnson. Won MVP honors. Here's Rasheed Wallace stepping back for three. Kobe Bryant very quiet tonight. Just 2 of 8 from the field. McGrady using the screen. Shoots for 3. Rebounded by Nowitzki.
Shaq's got to cover Nowitzki here right now. If they run a pick and roll or something, he can fade out and maybe get a 3.
Nice pass from Bryant. Broken up, though, by Wade. Was able to slap it away from Bryant.
Well, we ran the screen and roll, but O'Neal just stayed with Nowitzki.
He stayed attached to him.
He doesn't want to give up that 3. That means there's going to be some openings in the paint.
22nd timeout is called by the Western Conference. East up 119-114. We're down to 1 minute and 23 remaining in this fourth quarter. And Steve, as you mentioned, with Tracy McGrady on the floor, you never know.
No, you never know. There's plenty of time. I don't know if I've ever seen a guy who can shoot the ball as easily as Tracy McGrady. Maybe Vince Carter and Kobe can be thrown into that category, but we saw those guys shooting from half court yesterday in the practice sessions, just shooting normal jump shots. Their strength is amazing.
And he does that little lean back. He's 6'8" anyway, and he leans back away from the defense. He's been spectacular, but Steve, the move that LeBron James made was the move of the game. All these dunks and stuff, those are nice, but what he did with that finish, that was spectacular.
Let's check in with Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, Marv, earlier we were talking about Avery Johnson running offense and running plays yesterday at the scrimmage. It's going to pay off here because he has a play set up when he needs a three-pointer, and it is Kobe Bryant who is the man that will get this ball because they worked on it yesterday in practice.
And as I mentioned a moment ago, Bryant just 2 of 8 from the field. 25 minutes of play. Does have 8 assists and 6 rebounds. Kobe trying to free himself up. He does. And he fires over Wade and comes up short. Nowitzki on the follow. Dwyane Wade all over Kobe Bryant. That was the design play, as Craig just told us, but Kobe had very little room to operate. It's a 3-point East lead, and a foul is called. Both teams are over the limit. Foul on Bryant. That is number 5. Let's take another look at that move by LeBron James.
Marv, I talked about the power. Look at him as he takes his ball, slices between 2 players off the glass with his left hand. I mean, he made it look so easy. When you're sitting here and you see the speed and the grace of that move.
Almost reminded you of the Michael Jordan move in the finals, I believe, against Portland when he went up with the right hand. And then I know you were there. Because was it the Lakers? Yeah, over AC Green. That's right. You made the call, Marv. I remember that very well.
A spectacular move by Jordan.
Are you guys all right?
Yeah, we were honoring you.
It's a great call.
Thank you very much. All right, here's Iverson. An 80% free throw shooter, looking for his 13th point. He had 1 point at halftime, and now looking for number 13. So the East up 120-116 with a minute remaining. Here's Bryant to the rim. Kobe Bryant able to get the step on Dwyane Wade. It's a 2-point East lead. And we're down to 50 seconds left in the fourth. Wallace trying to set the pick. James shoots for 3.
I don't like that shot in those circumstances.
Here's Bryant protecting the dribble. Took his eye off it for a moment. Deflected out by Iverson.
Again, LeBron James can get to that rim anytime he wants to. And if you look out on the East, there's absolutely no shot blockers out there at all. So go to the front of that rim, get fouled, and go to the line.
37 seconds remaining in the fourth. Avery Johnson telling his guys, take a quick shot. That's exactly what Kobe Bryant does.
Can I take my best move of the game back? Did you see him split 2 guys? I think he took the ball between his legs.
Between his legs backwards, just like Avery Johnson drew it up.
Yeah, oh yeah, good coaching there.
Game is tied at 120. Here is Iverson coming up short. Wade, and the East leads by 2 with 16 and 6/10 seconds remaining in the fourth. Timeout called, and the West will be in possession. We're back at the Toyota Center in Houston with 16 and 6/10 seconds to go in this fourth quarter. Both teams are over the foul limit. The West out of timeouts, East with 2 full. Doug, in an all-star game, do you go for a 3 for the game winner?
I do. I run it out here, see if I can get me a 3 to win the game and stuff. These players don't want to probably stay here and play overtime anyway. Roll the dice and go for the win.
Well, and since you're in Houston and Tracy McGrady's really the only guy who's been consistently making threes tonight, I think you go right to T-Mac here.
And I know Kobe's chomping at the bit to take this last shot, too. T-Mac going to isolate here.
All right, McGrady played by James. McGrady. That was deflected short, kept alive by Bryant. And stolen by Rasheed Wallace, and that will do it. Here's Iverson putting off the glass. And again, the stuff is missed by Vince Carter. But the East has come away with the victory.
What if he would have missed that dunk and would have bounced back to a guy for a 3-point shot? Thank God the clock ran out for them.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to center court and TNT's Ernie Johnson.
All right, thank you very much. It is time to hand out some hardware to the most valuable player of this game, and to do the honors is the commissioner of the NBA, David Stern.
If I might first, I'd love to thank the people of Houston, Les Alexander, and the Rockets and the great state of Texas for hosting us in this extraordinary All-Star Week. The Toyota Center is quite a place to have a basketball game, and thank you. And if I could do one more thing, a most valuable player for the NBA for the last 30 years, 22 as deputy commissioner, is a guy by the name of Russ Garnett. And I'd like you to join me in giving Russ a hand in his last NBA All-Star game. Come on up, Russ. He's been putting words in my mouth, so I'm going to put words in his mouth as he presents the MVP trophy. And the MVP trophy, big surprise, goes to LeBron James, who with 29 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists, and a host of other intangibles, is the youngest MVP in the history of the NBA All-Star Game. Congratulations, LeBron.
All right, young man, you heard the commissioner say it, and to be exact, Oscar Robertson was 22 years and 55 days old when he won the MVP of the All-Star Game. You are 21 years and 55 days, exactly 1 year earlier. What does this mean to you, Bron?
Man, it means a lot. You know, the hard work and dedication has paid off, and you know, I'd like to thank the fans for voting me in as a starter, and I was just showcasing my talent today in this. You know, we got another win.
Want to tell me what kind of jump started you guys? Because at the half it was a 17-point game. You were down by 21 at one point.
I think Charles Barkley kickstarted us. I heard at halftime he said that the game was over. So I'd like to thank Charles for kickstarting us.
Exactly. LeBron James, congratulations on winning the most valuable player. It's LeBron James, folks, one more time.